Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. For today's projects, we are working in my 6x8 story album. One is going to go in my All About Me album, and one is in the story album for our family. So I am using, for the one about our family, the Collect Story Kit. So Collect came out recently. It is from 2025. It's either this month or last month, and don't quote me on it. It might have been July's, because I think August is quiet. So last month, and I haven't played with it yet. I haven't played with a lot of kits this year yet, but I printed out this 2-page print off. There is a video on my channel on how I do this. This was originally a landscape photo that I take into an app and save it as 2 vertical portraits in there. And then once I do that, I take it into the app called Print to Size, and then I'm able to not print all the way to the edges, and that way the seams pretty much line up. Yeah. So they have to be trimmed down. So they are printed to be outside the page protector. So it's 7 by 8 1/4. And when I have this, so the story is about going to the beach recently, and my daughter is into collecting rocks and shells, seashells. So we went to the beach and collected a lot of seashells. She does this all the time. We have too many rocks and seashells in this house. But with the Collect Story Kit, it lent itself to tell this story on, not to say it's an oddity, but what she's into right now. You know, we constantly have to carry around Ziploc bags because she always wants to bring them home. So originally I had printed a bunch of 2x2s also from the same beach day. It printed out a little bit grainy, but I'm okay with it. It's fine. And I have this page protector that has a 4x6 and then the 2x2s in the bottom. And I auditioned out, where were the cards that I auditioned out? Because I had them ready to go. And I was going to do the quote card on this side and then the collection one on the opposite side, and then fill in some of the holes for the 2x2s and have some of the photos still peek through. Now, that will work. It will. It looks great. You use your products, ta-da, you know, and then on the other side have 3 other holes just backed by it and have some of the thing peek through. And so your journaling would be here, que sera, sera. But then I was like, oh, but then nothing is on my photos, which is also fine because it's a beautiful photo. It doesn't need to be embellished too much, but you know, you do have chipboard that you can add really simply. Also the acetate word. But then I was like, oh, I like the pockets is why. The pockets came in the kit, and I was like, I love these. So what if I have one? Then I was like, I don't want to adhere it to the photo, right? So then that's why I have the acetate sheet. This is the evolution of a video for me. So I'll put the acetate sheet over it. This will be there, and then still cut down those 2x2s wherever I just put them. Oh, here. So, but then it would just be 3, 1, 2, 3, right, on the acetate. And then when you flip it over, it worked out good to put the other 3. And then on the back of this card, I either just like to cut this one down a little bit and put one of those chipboard pieces on it. Or I do just like, you know, having this card there because we're talking about it. Or just cut this in half. Or actually, no, it wouldn't even fit the whole way. For 4 inches, and just cut the piece of this, which could work too. So anyway, and then I like the quote card. I went back to the quote card, but because the quote is longer than the 4 inches, that got cut. So I was like, okay, I'll save that for another time. Something like this could also work if I put a picture in there. So these are the things that where we're at right now. So that's story 1 that we're working on. Then story 2, it's a progress kind of journaling on going back to the gym. I've been going back to Orange Theory for the past 6 months, about 2 times a week, and my hard work is paying off. So I'm using one of the Ali Edwards Alpha stamps because I want to do a heavy stamped page on this side. And I did the pictures in black and white because all the colors were just awful, and I honestly wore like a highlighter hot pink shirt that it was just like so bold. But and then kind of have a flip out of, have the large text of a quote, and then open it to show this picture, and then have all my journaling inside. And so these are just like 3 photos from Orange Theory class that, you know, if you've been to Orange Theory, you do some rowing exercise, you do some weightlifting exercise, and then you finish off, or at least I do this order, on the treadmill with more cardio. You can flip it and do cardio first, and then weights and tread and rower. I love it. I've been going for, like I said, 6 months. I started in January, and it's been going great. So we're going to be using one of these stamps for a heavy stamped page. And I feel like the quote, there's a quote actually at Orange Theory that says, progress comes to those who sweat. And I think that's what I want to stamp out. So we're going to do some stamping. We're going to put this together. We're going to have some fun. And I have to do the journaling still too, which I might do on clear sticker paper. I like doing on that because, you know why? When I type out my journaling, at least for me, I'm able to fit so much more words, so much more of the story than me just journaling it out. So I lean towards typing out my text, my journaling. So that is the process, where I'm at right now. Let's get started. I will do the stamping one second. Let's put together this first one. Okay, so let's get started with the one I want to use, the Collect Storybook. So I hope I explained what I did to get like the double page photo quite well. I think it's always linked in my comments below, the video that I showed you how I use the apps to do this. It's fairly simple, and I think even on the tutorial I did not too long ago about how I do like my grids is using the same app for that, and then the print to size app afterwards. But even so, you can see that all I really lose is like about maybe an inch, quarter inch all the way around. So even if you sent this to print to say Walgreens and got them both in 8x10, losing the outside border really won't affect the photo too much. So just keep that in mind. That way you can get like really bold looks like this when you do layouts. So I did decide, I think I already went through it, that I'm going to do a piece of like clear acetate and then have my photos and or this pocket with the journaling card inside floating on that acetate. Simply because I think the photo itself is, you know, I hate to say it, like bold and beautiful, and I don't want to have something permanently adhere to it, because then I should have just used, you know, scrapbooking paper and it would have worked out well too. Which by all means, like if I just had the photo on the left, having a blue wash watercolor pattern paper on this side and doing what I am doing would have worked out beautifully too. I think I was just adamant about having this beach photo, that I needed to make it work where nothing was really on the photo itself. But I do add just like a little something to both sides. But, you know, your preference is your preference. So if you can do pattern paper, that would have worked out well too. And you can see I auditioned out this journal card. I did cut it, and I actually go with something else, because here I am auditioning the journal card just sitting on the photo itself that says collect, collect, collect. And in that 4x4 card or pocket, I do like a good solid 4 inches of text just about like this whole process with her, because ever since she was a little person, she's 6 now, but since she's been able to walk and talk and we go to the beach because we live in Florida, she has always collected seashells. Like, you know, we go through this harvest station too, where I have to like get rid of some of them, because otherwise, you know, the 10 pounds that she brought home today won't fit anywhere. So I have to do that on the sly, because if she notices me throwing away seashells, I mean, she might have a heart attack on me, because all of them are hers. They're my collection, Mom. And she uses that word very well. My collection of seashells. So literally, I think we were on the beach maybe for 2 to 3 hours, and we probably came home with like 10 pounds of seashells. I kid you not. And some of them we paint, some of them we glitter up, some of them, the ones that are big, that we put a lot of glitter and let dry, like they're sitting on her shelf, and then other ones are in like boxes that she labels as the ones that are not broken, and then these are broken ones. I mean, it's a whole to deal, and we do the same with rocks. Kid you not. Let me know if your kids collect anything, because it's definitely something funny that she says, like, she collects, and she says this. So the other 6 little photos are 2x2, are just other moments that day. So I'm taking a picture of like our feet with all the shells. I have a picture of her playing with the toys. I have a picture of her actively picking up the shells and some other beach ones. And so it was just a nice morning. I will say I remember too from this day, I wonder if it's in my thing, that we did get a little sunburn. Like, I know I reapplied, and she was in the water at the time, and I had called for her to call for her, like, come out, let me get you. And unfortunately, I listened to my 6-year-old, and she's like, no, I don't want to get out of the water. And I was like, fine, like, we're probably only going to be here another 30 minutes, so whatevs. But yeah, we learned the hard way that extra 30 minutes gave her rosy cheeks, totally. And that was my fault, and I should have, hauled her out of the water and reapplied, because she is very fair. So that would be the only downer of that day that I remember right now, looking back on doing this voiceover. And so the collection is perfect for things like this. So you can see that the collect word is on the photo with her in it. And then I'm just using this little simple chipboard circle piece, and I'm taking off some of that backing. I try to not add too much bulk all the time with these chipboards. I love the chipboards for having a small embellishment, but sometimes the bulk, I always try to narrow it down. So that wrapped up that one. So here we are with the one about me going to the gym, and I am using this, so I will cut this paper out to be a little bit longer than the 7 inches across, because I'm going to create a flip out. So I'm going to exceed it by about an inch so that I have a flip out moment. And these, I used my photo as a guideline just to measure out that 7 by 8.25, so I didn't have to really think too much about it. This one about me going back to the gym will go into my All About Me album. I think I did mention that already. So it's just 3 photos. So I think I mentioned it in the intro that I go now to Orange Theory. If you're unfamiliar, Orange Theory is an hour workout class that is called like interval training / full body workout. So full body workout, that should be self-explanatory, but interval training just means that you do things in like bursts. That's how you get like your heart rate up, and that high to low with those burst actions is that interval training, which helps you in theory burn more calories in the process. So you do stations between the treadmill. For 20 minutes, you do a combination of the rower and weightlifting for another 20 minutes or so, and that gives you like your full hour class with enough time to like obviously swap equipment and these things and the other. So it's been fantastic. So here I am just taking out the alphas. I told you I went with the larger set and just measuring out a line where I can have some guidelines on where to stamp, simply because I don't want it to be too wonky. This is a big, like, quote, it's not terribly big, but it's just about good 5 or 6 lines on the paper. So I just wanted guidelines where I can stay in field without going too much, and then knowing where I may have to like have the letters touch a little bit just so that it all fits. This part, when you're stamping out a whole quote, take your time. Do not rush. This is not something that you do when you're like, oh, I got to go pick up the kids in 5 more minutes, because that 5 minutes will make you mess up. So do this when you have a little bit of time to really do it. Now, and I'm not a great stamper. I love some stamps, but I'm not a great stamper. And you can see that I have some irregular impressions. And of course, do you want perfect stamping? Of course. Am I okay that it's not perfect? Of course, you guys. Like, of course. This big bold title, it's for, like, in essence, like my personal All About Me journal. It's fine. It's fine. So good things come to those who sweat. It's actually a quote that's actually on the Orange Theory wall, so that's always fun to remember and put in my journal. But my journaling will include how I started, how it's going. I have improved a lot in doing that. I really went back as the motivation because a lot of health concerns were coming up for me, like high cholesterol and pre-diabetic, and I needed to start reversing all of that because my daughter's only 6 and I need to live forever. You know what I mean? And so since starting, like I was only able to do like 5 or 7 pound weights, and I'm up to about 15 pounds on my reps, which is a great improvement. And the same with the treadmill. I used to only be able to walk. They changed things from walking to inclines and stuff. And now I can like walk and like run at this, for my all outs and stuff when they ask you to sprint. So that's an improvement too. So I am just very happy with how my health has improved. And I'm even going into old story kits because the heart and these pieces now are from the Care story kit. So it worked out really well since the photos were all black and white. And so my journaling is just heartfelt about me making that improvement, me showing up, me going alone, which is sometimes awkward for us, and me just doing it for me. I don't have friends to go with. I'm doing this to save my life. Okay, that will wrap up these two stories, one using the Collect Story Kit and one sort of like a mixture of like Care and just the stamp set from Ali Edwards, but Ali Edwards products nonetheless. So this one turned out oh so great, and everything is on a transparency and then embellished it once. The pocket became very tight when I added that picture on there and stuff, so I'm wondering, I'll see it even to come out. I don't know if it's meant to add bulk into there, but beautiful. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. So this one's gonna go, like I said, in my, I think I mentioned my family story album 6x8, and then I have my All About Me album, in which this one will go into about working out and going back to the gym. A whole quote of stamping, added 2 little chipboard pieces that I took off some of the backing from. The felt heart is from the Strong Story Kit, but then the gray vellum heart is from the Care, and I do believe this one was from Care as well. It could have been Strong. I could have picked out both of them. So like I said, just a collection of stuff, but using my products from Ali Edwards. And then we have the open up flap. I forgot where all this is from. This might have been One Little Word pieces. Again, we're using products from the collection, but I like that the mint and stuff all worked, and even like the mustard yellow is in there too, and that pattern paper is just great with it. So I love the good tight stamped quote. So very cool. Like I said, they both turned out great. This one's going in my All About Me, since it's heavy journaling about probably everything I told you during the voiceover about going back to the gym. And this one and her collections is just so great. So thank you so much for joining me. Please subscribe if you are new to my channel. Hello to all of the subscribers that join me for each video. I do appreciate you being here. Give this video a thumbs up. It always helps my channel out. And until next time, everyone, bye.